It's Mark Pires.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way.
And this is the longest running show on YouTube. 1,559 days in a row, the Mark Inspires show, here to do something. I'm not sure. I think I have a couple things I have to get to. So, like, before we can get to a song, it's Easter tomorrow, guys. The Easter Bunny's coming. So I have to, so we'll probably play a little something for a few minutes in order for me to get that going. I think what I'll probably do is play, I'm feeling moinkish. You guys feeling like getting your moink on? I think sometimes when you're wondering, like, what do you do? Do I get a moink or do I just, like, get moinked? You can do both, when you watch it and you're a part of it. Anyway, guys, I'm very, very excited. This Thursday night, Back to the Future, Mark, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Right? Who has seen the clips that have been out there? I've been dropping tons of little shorts so you guys at least get a little feel of some of the characters in this film that's going to be premiering on Thursday. Who's my favorite character, Joanne? I don't know. Joanne, can you please stop wheezing, though? I'm here trying to do a show, monologue style, and friggin' Joanne's wheezing full volume. Joanne, I guess I would say my favorite character is probably Leonardo da Vinci. When you get away with murder. So, you got to tune in for that one. Also, I guess because I was able to break such a terrible habit, like drinking, as Mark Jellin, that was a good one, too. Because, I came back from the depths, Davy Jones' locker, And then, I'm torn. I'm really torn, Joanne, because when I, penned the greatest of all, I can't get into it because you got to be there on Thursday to know about it. But when Abraham Mark Lincoln came out of nowhere with the freaking top hat, so you're going to want to tune in for the top hat shuffle, we call it. There's a dance. No, Joey, I know the music was beautiful. She said, but what about when you were there doing it as Mark's art? I know. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart did it. And then they were like, we'll give it to Mozart. Friggin' hack. We learn a few things about Mozart in the process. You got to be there. 8 p.m. Thursday night, Back to the Future, Mark. It's the fourth movie to the Back to the Future series. Marty Mark Fly. Killed it. Marty Mark Fly, Joanne. Now we have to do an actual Back to the Future movie as Marty Mark Fly. As Back to the Future Mark, Marty Mark Fly. I did Back to the Future. And they stole that from me too and gave it to freaking, Michael J. Fox. Markle J. Fox, really. Joanne! Keep it down. Zabrosk, throwing it to you. Woohoo! You're here. Getting a woohoo. Zabrowski's over there giving it. Yeah, no, Joanne's wheezing, I know. S. Cooper saying, yeah, but Joanne's wheezing. She was not wrong, Joanne, can you do me a favor and just try to cover up a little? You're too exposed here, That's not very inspirational. We're trying to inspires, we're trying elements of things that inspires, Not with Joanne doing that. That's inspiring a quick death. Anyway, guys, I'm feeling like a moink. Who wants to get moinked? Some people, Maudib was talking about a moink, and when you think about it, everybody deserves to be moinked from time to time. Easter night, you're doing it, getting your moink on. So why don't we drop a little moinkaroo out there, Joanne? What's that? No, Joanne, you couldn't be in the episode. She goes, I wish you invited me to be a part of the Shark Tank episode. I could have helped you hold the moink. No, I'm sorry. We don't need you, Joanne. You're a bit of a distraction. I'm trying to do a deal of cubes. And you're back there wheezing during the whole, presentation. Joanne is the epitome of somebody who takes the fun out of moinking. Anyway. Guys, let's get to it. I want to welcome, if anybody's on Rumble right now, I don't know if they are, but if you are, welcome to the freaking show. 1,559 days in a row doing it. And no, Joanne, we know you've been doing it for 1559 in a row. Wheezing. Yeah, and also filing the Zabrowski file. Sorry, I forgot that. She tries to remind me from time to time. Joanne, I get it. I get it. You want credit too? You know, credit, where credit due. Yeah, no, you also have to take credit for the wheeze. She goes, but I guess I have to take credit for the wheeze. Yeah, you do. Don't come down to the show and be like, well, why do you give me credit for the freaking, just filing the Zabrowski file on a daily? And you're just going to look past the wheeze. I'm sorry. We call you out for everything here, Joanne. Especially for those tutors. Yeah. When she's like, I got to do a number 2. Joanne, third door on the right. Yeah, no, Joanne, you made me snort again. She goes, did you snort? Yeah, I freaking did. Because you're wheeze. Joanne, can you please turn on the turbo exhaust 5001? Yeah, put it on to kill the neighbor. No, put it on to just like medium. Right? What are we talking about? She's back there doing a freaking duper, double-decker style. It's seeping, and she can't turn on the turbo exhaust 5001. Gotta call the patent office on that one. Excuse me, do you guys have a patent on kill the neighbor? No, I mean like not murder. I mean like just, you get a Joanne deal, right? She goes in there, turns on the old exhaust, but this one's got a jet turbine in it. And it shoots it into the neighbor's, cold filter press system, Yeah, they could also make coffee in it, Joanne. Joanne, you need maybe a coffee colon cleanse. It's a new thing, California style. You go there, L.A. Can you do a colon cleanse? Sure, come on in. Do you got a freaking bold? I'm talking about, like, get me an espresso, but a bold type of espresso. Run it through the pipes. I don't want you going in there with water. Let's put a little bit of a sanitizing liquid in there. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking for the dirtiest and, like, the most, like, nutty style of coffee possible. Grind that sucker up. You run it through the friggin' pipes. Nothing like a colon cleanse. A coffee colon cleanse. Richard Hamilton. I remember he talked about that in a movie like 25 years ago. It's funny. I always do callbacks to random things. I don't even know if anybody knows the random stuff I call back. I'll do a callback to like They Call Me Bruce. Nobody freaking knows that movie. Oh, goodness. My callbacks are so random. But they're my callbacks. When I do a freaking Kurt Russell and we're talking about Big Trouble Little China with Lopan and he's there looking for a girl with the green eyes and you don't know about it, that's on you that you don't know about a freaking girl with the green eyes. Kim Cattrall. She's one of a 7 billion. There's only 2. They found them. They're both in freaking Little Chinatown. Kurt Russell. And freaking Raiden from Mortal Kombat. He was there too. Lightning. Lopan. The girl with the green eyes. When you do a freaking dead-on Lopan impression and nobody remembers Lopan, it's the bane. He was also in a movie called, I don't know the name of it right now, something about ping pong with Christopher Walken. And I own that movie. I just can't think of the name of the movie right now, but it's a movie about ping pong. And Christopher Walken plays an evil character. It's freaking awesome. It's one of the funniest movies because Christopher Walken's amazing at ping pong. Ping pong. Wow. You come down. You play ping pong. Pong. The ping. You're there. You take a racket and club it. The ball. Ping pong. Wow. Chinatown. There, Christopher Walken talk. You play ping pong. Wow. You ping pong. You hit the ball. I crossed the net. No, backhand. Like a dragon. Oh, you did the dragon thing as walk-in, you know. The girl with the green eyes. He's in that movie as well. You know. Look it up. You know. Sometimes you nail it, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I don't remember the name of the movie either." Well, friggin' A, you know. That's why it's my reference. Balls of Fury. That's it. Nailed it. Sometimes when you take a couple of seconds to remember, maybe a minute, to remember the friggin' name of the movie. Balls of Fury. Balls of Fury. Wow. You Christopher Walken. You there as the freaking man. What's his name? Fang. Wow. It's Fang. His name is Fang. I love sometimes that these things come back to me. Fang. Whoa. You there play ping pong with Fang. You got a Fang or a Fang? He's a freaking white guy named Fang. It's like as crazy as being freaking, you know, Sensei Round Eye. Oh, my goodness. Balls of Fury. Go check it out. Anyway, guys, when you got a moink and people are wondering if they can get their moink on, and you just want to tell them, there's no friggin' way you're getting a moink on. There's no way. We're not going to let you do it. We just can't. It's illegal in some circles. Guys, again, just giving you the friggin' link real quick. This right here is the premiere of Back to the Future Mark. I'm going to give you the link right now. So hopefully you will do me a favor. And I think S-Coop could pin that. If you can, S-Coop, I mean, I didn't say anything, but that's the link. Maybe you could actually put it in there with a pin and just say, here's the link to Back to the Future Mark, premiering Thursday at 8 p.m. Guys, it's not easy to do a feature film. I can't believe I'm putting out my 7th. But now it's like I'm taking it a little bit more seriously than the others. I'm actually having a feeling, and I may go with this feeling, which is since I have these movies already cut, I may take them into my cut, like my Final Cut program on my phone. For example, Batmark versus Supermark. Batmark versus Supermark, all of the movies up until the last 2 movies, there is no zooming in. It's just the shot. And all I did was cut the stuff together and make the movie. I failed to realize when I was cutting these movies originally that part of what makes it cinematic is when it zooms in and all of a sudden it's really close to me as I say somewhere, you see a facial expression. And then it goes back out to some of my crazy facial or, animated type of physical comedy, which is basically what I do, I realized, when I'm watching these movies, is it's like stream of consciousness, but it's very, very much about amplifying what's happening through my body and throwing my arms and my feet and jumping and doing all these weird kicks and stuff. And it's like, now I just want to do that more because I freaking love it. And then it makes me realize things I totally hate and I want to stop doing. And I'm like, no more of that. And so you'll see me just kind of tighten things up, especially as we go forward and create more movies. And you have to have perspective. It's so hard when you're as close as I am to all this. Like, I don't know what's good. I have no idea what's funny because I don't have any sort of backboard, for to throw these ideas off of. I had a conversation with my son earlier, and I just was explaining to him how important it is to not give up what anybody thinks about you. And I just wanted to make the point because he mentioned how someone was saying something about his haircut or something. And, I don't want someone to make fun of X. And I said, let me just save you a ton of time. It's been 20 plus years, 26, 25, 26 years since I've been in high school. And my best friends in high school, I haven't talked to in 25, 26 years. The people I worried so much about, impressing, or the people I was so concerned with their opinions of me when I was 14, 15 to 18, 19 to 20 plus years old. I just don't give a fuck anymore, man. And I got to a point where I realized that nobody out there really cares. And the reality is, if you do something that is unique, most of the people who can't are going to shit on it. And that's just a reality of life. And it's something that once you realize that, you can start to understand the only opinion that matters is yours. And when you are going to try to accomplish something, you need to understand it's important to get some opinions and some perspective from people you trust. But if you're not following your North Star, if you're not creating what your mind and your heart is telling you to create, you fail. You find misery before you find a smile. And I just made a point to him. I said, look, I'm sure you think Daddy's a little nuts. I'm freaking FutureMark. I'm stuck on Mars. I did Batmark versus Supermark. I'm your dad and I'm doing all these crazy things. I'm sure you're probably like, my dad's nuts, but I don't give up. I'm doing what my intuition's telling me to do. And one day, all of this content that somebody was willing to explore and create is there. Whether it sucks or not is subjective, but the reality is I had the balls enough to put it out there. Yeah, I put on a freaking cape, 2023 style. Freaking Batmark. Any idea is worth exploring. It's only going to be deterred if you give a crap what anybody thinks about that creativity. Nobody knows what's creative. Nobody knows what's good. You don't either, but you need to explore it to find out if there's anything there. If I never explored the idea of doing a news report in front of a freaking rocket, and then at the end, when I see that rocket take off, and the plan of that rocket originally was when it took off and you saw that huge explosion, was that I would get blown up. That was the bit originally. I was like, oh, I'm doing that, and I get blown up in front of this freaking rocket, or the rocket blows up and so do I. And it's like this terror, because the rocket blew up that day. The rocket blew up that day when I did that bit. And when I went to find the rocket blowing up, I couldn't find it. I found that takeoff. And you see the proper, and while I'm filming it, I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be pretty funny is I'm so close to this rocket that when it takes off, I get freaking hooked, like by my shirt. And I'm like, and I'm getting taken. And the last thing you see is me stuck to a rocket being freaking taken away. And then that's the end of the scene. And then after I dropped it and it's out there, which friggin' probably 2 people saw, my creative mind said, well, geez, where the frig did that news reporter go? He got stuck to a rocket and all of a sudden he's going up and he's out of the picture. He's took off. Where did that rocket go? Geez, he's sending like satellites up into space, but isn't the ultimate mission of Elon Musk and SpaceX to go to Mars? Well, we're going to Mars. I'm on Mars, stuck on Mars. And then all of a sudden within that, colonizing Mars and changing the name to Marks, because it's Planet Marks now, because I'm the only human on Planet Marks. Like all of this stuff is stream of consciousness, happens live and in the moment. But if I wasn't willing to explore the most basic of ideas, which is, hey, let me get in front of a green screen and do a news report, nothing happens. And so I refuse to fail based on the concern of what others feel and what others believe is proper and what others believe is the proper way to create and what is okay to create. Oh, so late. Movies have been made this way before, and they've involved hundreds of millions of dollars of budgets and 15 actors, and you've got writers and producers, and that's how these movies are created. So you have to have it that way. That's the only way you as a viewer are willing to watch a movie. You're not willing to take a chance and watch a guy get in front of the camera without a script and stream of consciousness create a full feature film. Not just some ideas, a freaking film that makes sense. It's coherent from beginning to the end, and there's a lot of funny stuff in there. It's like, that to me is where I get baffled. So explore. Do not give a crap what anybody thinks, because no one's opinion matters. The only thing that matters is, are you doing the things that your intuition's telling you to do? And you're the only one who can answer that. Most people have one of two things happen. They think about something and they do it. Or they think about something and they say, well, what are they going to think if I try that? What is she going to think if I try to do that? What is he going to think if I try to do that? I wonder what my boss will think if I try to do that. What did you think? You thought about something and now you're all of a sudden living in fear. Instead of taking that step, just do it. Failure is not moving. As long as you're moving your feet, that's all that matters. Keep your feet moving. Standing still and being indecisive is the one thing you do not have the luxury and time. You don't have the time for it. We're running short. I saw my niece earlier. It's like they're going to college. She's going to college. It's like, what? My son's going to high school next year. What the? And it's like, hold on a minute. This entire experience of mine, which is coming up to a 45-year turning point on Thursday, when I release my 7th film. And I'm just realizing more and more that the whole exercise, this entire exercise, is a struggle for one very, very simple reason. The people who control and run the world understand that if they keep us at odds, then we can never find our true greatness. And that is what they're really trying to keep us from, because if they do, I believe in some weird occult way, they steal our power or something, or a lifeline. I'm not sure what it is, but they really desperately want to do this. They really desperately want to guide us into distraction and fear and division and hatred, instead of learning the true, essence of us, which is that we are one. There is nothing else but that. We look different because there's like a shell, but within us, everything else is the same. We think a little differently, and that's because our minds are wired differently, but we hold within us the same emotions, the same love, the same hatred, the same everything. It's just really interestingly, pointed by the people in charge in order to keep us at odds. And it is. Everybody knows it is. It's one of the simplest conversations in the world to me. You could just start a generation. My kid, for example. My kid the other day asked me why and it wasn't because she's a 7-year-old kid. She has no idea. She goes, why is there Black History Month? And then she goes, I don't remember white history. I don't understand. She's like, what is this? And I was like, and I just looked at my wife and I was like, well, there were some really bad things. And then I started realizing something. If my 7-year-old kid never learned that there was some really bad things that happened 400 years ago, a time way before me and my wife and everybody else in the room, if she never had to hear about it every freaking year, all month long, all the bad things white people did, and then I'm like, ding, 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 motherfucking ding. This is the elite narrative agenda control mechanism continuing the division every year in freaking February. Morgan Freeman said it best. He's like, I don't want a month. And he goes, why isn't there a White History Month? And then Charlie Rose was like, well, because we've persecuted you or whatever. He's like, look, you guys always want to talk about this. he's like, hey, and then Charlie Rose goes, well, then how do we get rid of racism? He goes, stop talking about it. And he goes, oh, well, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm going to sit across from you and have a conversation. And he's saying this to him, and Charlie Rose is like getting freaking totally blown out of his seat. Like, geez, yeah, I'm perpetuating the racism situation by always talking about it. You know, there's only one reality that I can see. I grew up in the late 90s, and Michael Jordan is the friggin' GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. LeBron James is awesome. He's a great basketball player, but he's a freight train, and there's only one Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant was the closest to it, but there's only one Michael Jordan, and there's only one GOAT. Now, there's been probably a GOAT. There's a GOAT in every generation. But as far as it goes, the game was changed because of Michael Jordan. And there's nobody who moved and flew through the air like that dude. Okay? So just moving forward, I grew up in the 90s. Michael Jordan was king to everybody. I feel like Michael Jordan broke down a lot of the racial barriers for people because everybody loved Michael Jordan. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Remember that? And they had a song for it, guys. To be like Mike. Oh, I want to be like... Everybody wanted to be like Mike, okay? Not just black people wanted to be like Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. You know why? Because it wasn't about skin color. It was about performance. It was about talent. It was about the essence of humanity, which is do something, rise to the top and become. And so what I realized is... And this is something, again, when you stand back and think about this perspective right now, you're going to be like, holy freaking cow. So 60s, horrendous in this country. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, how many other people were slain along the way in order to find a progression towards some sort of equal footing. And to a point where there was mutual appreciation for each other, not on skin color, but on acts, on the way we treat each other. When I grew up, 80s, 90s, by the time I was in high school, my best friends were not white, guys. I didn't even think about their skin color ever. They were freaking awesome. I loved them. They treated me great, and I in kind. And so I never even understood this. Now, my father, Portuguese, I remember hearing stories because when he grew up in New York, it was still pretty messed up. And my father happens to have he's got a Portuguese skin tone, which he gets dark in the spring and summer. So I'm sure he dealt with crap along the way. But I'll tell you what, he taught us, my mother taught us in general, that you treat people the way they treat you, and you're trying to lift people up in this world. And so I start thinking about something. I feel like George Bush was kind of a turning point for this country where like he was terrible in front of the camera, very awkward. He just like, I don't know, something creepy about him when he was the president. Like he was doing some shady stuff and just couldn't stand in front of it and take it. I still don't like the way 9/11 went down and the way he acted. There's a lot of weird stuff. Okay. There's a picture at Epstein's of George Bush sitting his legs crossed with paper airplanes throwing at two buildings. That was in Epstein's office after it was seized. So just so you know, a little creepy. And then something with Bill Clinton's dress with the Monica Lewinsky, like he was wearing her dress or something like that. Yeah, Epstein. So there's two things that he was clearly putting out there, like, yeah, these things happened, you know, and like I made art out of it. Anyway, what I just wanted to say is that we got to a point where I feel like George Bush pushed enough people away that they were like, we need something new. And then what do you know? Barack Obama comes along. And it was at a point in history where all these things piled up, right? And Obama comes out of there, and somehow, out of nowhere, he gets the nomination, I think, right? And he was like a nobody. He's like some freaking like community leader. He has like one speech, and all of a sudden he's like on the fast track to being president, like junior senator. Now he's the freaking president of the United States of America. And okay, so like bottom line is this. I didn't vote for him the first time around. It wasn't about skin color. I thought he was inexperienced. I was like, there's no way I want to vote for this guy. I think the first time around it was Romney against him, right? Who was the first time around? He was up against it was McCain, I believe. McCain was just a war veteran, you know? And so I think I voted for McCain on that. Obama wins. Okay. So we have 4 years of Obama. Now, like him or not, he was horrendous. Like the country it was terrible under his 4 years. And I was a young guy who was probably very liberal at the time because I was voting. like Democrat. And the only reason I voted for McCain is because I was like, okay, you got a guy with experience who's a war veteran, who was a freaking prisoner of war, by the way. And you got a guy who's a junior senator who talks pretty smooth. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want a guy who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I want a guy who went to freaking war and was a prisoner of war and came back. That's a guy. So anyway, bottom line, I realize 2 terms of Barack Obama. 2 terms, not 1. And if he had a great term and then we got a second one, okay, I understand that. But he had a terrible first term. And then when he's up against Romney on the second term, Romney blew him out of the water in the first debate because he was hitting him with facts. He was steamrolling over Obama. Obama didn't even know what the hell hit him. Second time around, freaking Romney took his foot off the gas. Chris Christie puts his arm around Obama because there's a freaking hurricane that takes place like 3 days before the election. And motherfucking Chris Christie, just because Obama took the opportunity, there's a crisis. Let me fly to New Jersey and check on New Jersey. Chris Christie's there. Oh, thank you, President Obama, for saving New Jersey right before the election. That is what sold the country on Barack Obama again for a second term. I'll just tell you, that's exactly what it was. I knew it at the time. I was watching it. I was like, I can't believe this is going on. The election's in 3 days. There's a hurricane. Obama shows up where the hurricane is to bring relief. And all of a sudden, the Republican governor of that state is like loving Obama, arms around Obama, pictures everywhere. It was a wrap for Romney at that point. That being said, our country still voted for Obama, second term. We have 2 terms with Barack Obama. The first time in history we had an African-American president. I hate that term, African-American, because it doesn't even make sense. Every other country in the world just say black, white, whatever. We have some names. Everything's divisive. African-American, Native American. Just reminding you that we stole your land. It's like so stupid, And when I say we, the royal we, everything we do here in this country is triggered. It's like we trigger. It's the weirdest thing in the world. But again, so you vote this guy in twice. And then all of a sudden, I just want to try to paint a picture for you. I think at this point in history, it is the most even ground that we've ever seen, because the president who was in for 8 years then set it up a specific way going forward. I would say very, not necessarily radical, but definitely not moderate. And pretty freaking radical. And then of course you get Donald Trump who comes along. And because Donald Trump comes along and he simply comes down the escalator and he says a simple phrase, I'm going to drain the swamp. He says he's going to freaking drain the swamp. That, to me, is like when I saw those bullies picking on those kids that one kid in 7th grade. And I said, hey, guys, leave him alone. 2 guys beating on a small kid like me. And I said, hey, guys, leave him alone. Those 2 guys made my life a living hell. In 7th grade, beat the friggin' hell out of me every day because I said to them, hey guys, leave him alone. Freaking Trump comes down the escalator. He says he's going to drain the swamp. And then, of course, as you guys all know, the swamp went on offensive. They're still freaking on the offensive, guys, from that day. From that moment that he said, I'm going to drain the friggin' swamp. Melania, don't go near the gold toilet. Yes, I'm winning big league. When he freaking said the big league thing, he got through then all the way to the big league. That was it for Donald Trump. His life has been over as we know it. Because the guy who was extremely well-liked by everybody became hated in that moment when he told the evil of this world he was coming for them. When he told the special interests, I don't need your money. I'm doing it with my own money. When we came up with the name fake news because he was getting nothing but fake news. All they did from that moment on was vow in some secret room to take him down at all costs. Nothing will stop them. They'll impeach him for bull crap. They'll take Russian disinformation. They'll say that it's his. And whatever it is, they'll use the media. If you've seen episode 3 of the DJT show that I created in 2019, Nancy Pelosi literally tells everybody what they do. She said, we call it the smear. It's a smear tactic. And what they do is they create a falsehood, and then they feed it to the news, and then the news runs with it, and then it becomes fact. That's what they do. And that's what we have going on here. And then when you have a complicit media, they all are owned by this fake, establishment. So, just to follow and finish up. 60s, terrible. 70s, terrible. 80s, starting to get a little better. 90s, we're good. We're good. 2000s, freaking Bush comes along, kind of messes things up. Then Barack Obama, the era of Obama, where we have the first black president in history for 8 years, not 4, not one term. Donald Trump becomes the president. He has a consensus. Let's call it 49.999% of the country wants Donald Trump, and there's a couple more that vote for freaking Hillary, and because they probably don't understand that there's a freaking body count, literally, and so you got these two situations, and you got a guy who's now the president of the United States who's not a president. He's never been a politician. He's a businessman. He's lost money. He's made money. He owns businesses. He's sold businesses. He's very crafty with his tax accountants because he understands the tax laws. And now he's going up against the system in order to try to level out the playing field for everyday Americans. Did I get that right? So now the guy who's trying to level out the playing field for everyday Americans, to fight for the little guy, to make this country as great as it could be. Whether you want to say great again, maybe it was never great, as Bryan Cranston wants to continue to bash Donald Trump about. When was it ever great? All right, Bryan, you're freaking the problem. Bryan Cranston, you guys are the problem. The ones who want to look back and rip down a guy who tried to bring some sort of a semblance to this country. We tried to secure the southern border. We had record low unemployment. You had a booming stock market as well as income. Everybody was doing well across the board. Gas prices, right? Inflation was like 1 point, it was something so low. And then look where we are today. We're talking about a potential collapse of the American dollar. Never have we seen that in the history of time. And they're now talking about the potential of it. And then there's still this contingent of morons out there like, yeah, Donald Trump is so bad. What an evil guy. And I'm like, you guys don't want to talk about your dummy freaking moron of a president who can't speak? He's sleeping right now at all times, poops in a triple diaper, and he's destroying the country. Communism, hello. They're like, it's not communism. I'm like, okay, the Twitter files is all social media files. What you see from Matt Taibbi and all these other people from the Twitter files, just say YouTube files, freaking Mark Zuckerberg files. They all were controlled and run by the FIBI and by the CIA. It wasn't just Twitter. You think they were only running Twitter? They were running everything. And I'm on that freaking list. It's a freaking mental. I really would love to hear from you. The guy who's sitting in the room at the FIBI. I know you're watching right now. You've been watching every single night. And you just sit here and you laugh as you shut down this show and you algorithm the hell out of me for the last 1,559 days in a row. Why don't you have the friggin' balls to call in? Why don't you have the friggin' balls to let my content out and see what happens? Are you so afraid of letting people hear the truth? Or letting people hear what the moment has to say? Only which you can fabricate and put in front of them? Is that it? You think people are so stupid. I guess that you have enough of them that are believing it, so I guess you're successful in that. but you're creating an army of people that see right through all the crap that you put out there. And everything we've said has come true while you suppressed us and shut us down. So I guess at a certain point, we're all going to gather. And then it's going to be the good against the evil of the world. And we small, though I think it's probably bigger than it seems. We small, few, heartfelt, strong-minded, and truth-driven individuals will come together to be the spear. The more people that understand what's going on and come together, the better our chances of getting through this. You know, I heard someone say something that really pissed me off. Because I'm flipping through, and someone said, they made a comment about how they had to change the name of something. Oh, they were talking about the military bases, and how they're changing all the military bases. And someone goes, yeah, I hate that they're changing the military bases. And one of the guy goes, oh, yeah, you know, well, the sign of the, it's because of the times, And they freaking blew right by it, because of the times. And I'm like, you guys are the freaking problem. It's the a-holes, the streamers, the people who go, yeah, it's just the times. No, it's not the times. That's what they want. They want you to just be like freaking pacifist about it. Yeah, whatever. I can't do anything about it. It's just a sign of the times. Yeah. No, she's a freaking tiger. You're a freaking girl. And I can't understand this. When I grew up, I had a lot of friends who were confused. They weren't confused and I'm trapped in the wrong body. No, you're gay. It's okay to be gay. It's okay. You don't have to be more unique than that. That's extremely unique already. Oh, well, I feel like I'm a... No, you're not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The reality is just a simple reality. Because God doesn't want you to be sitting there all the time questioning everything. You're born with one thing or the other thing, and when you look down there, you can tell what you are. And then beyond that, your emotions are vast. There is not one specific singular thing that a man or a woman is. You exist within the body you are, and that doesn't have any restrictions. Okay? The thing you are restricted on is calling yourself the opposite sex. It's just stupid. I'm sorry. Stupid. You could feel however you want to feel. And you could be that within the body you are, but it doesn't change anything else. One day, an archaeologist, someone comes across your bones, and they're excavating, and they're like, oh, we found a human being here. Well, let's do some DNA testing. Let's see what we got. Oh, look, it's a friggin' tiger person. No, it's a woman or it's a man. There's one or the other. This was never debated in history until like all of a sudden like 12 people became the loudest in the room. And I'm like, where is everybody? Where are the common sense driven individuals who just want to say, hold on a minute. It's okay to be gay. Don't complicate it beyond that. I feel like I'm a freaking mummy. Okay, get in that freaking casket. What are we talking about over here? This is mental. This is mental. We shouldn't complicate and confuse people even more, especially don't talk to children. What? This is like, I'm at a loss here. But when you step back and you realize that the bigger picture is control, division of the family. They want to destroy the family. Can't you tell by confusing children at the age of 7 and 10 and let's give you chemically castrated? Yeah, that's not freaking criminal. The amount of people who do evil things and what they consider to be the acts of coming from the right I came from the right. Someone said this blew my mind. I want to read this to you guys. You tell me what you think of this. Ready? And I'll show this to you. So this is not, let's see if you can see this. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Let's read this together if I can get this on. Okay, look at this. Ready? Okay, come on. Okay. I'm going to let you read that because if I say it, I'll get in trouble. So let me just put this on. Read this, and then you tell me how insane the people on the, you'll see, on the side of let's do whatever Dr. Weasel Frauci says. Look at this. You should never regret the bugaboo, even if it turns out that come on, dude. You're doing that to me, huh? You can't give us a freaking A. I'm bringing it right up to it. Come on. All right, there we go. Even if it turns out that I injected you with actual poison and you only have days to live, my heart is and was in the right place. I bugabooed you out of love, while anti-veers resisted out of hate. Wow. If you die because of my love for the world, then so be it. But I will never regret or apologize for, yeah. And this person, this doctor, said this on January 1st, when they finally came out and said it didn't work. And so just, do you see how they manipulate? If it winds up being that it is terrible and literally kills people, we're going to just pretend that we did it. We came from the right place, though. And it's all the people who were against it that are evil, even though those people that were against it were right. And we were wrong, and we forced this on you. Literally forced it on you. You don't do it, you can't keep your job. But that, we did it for the right reasons, because we cared about humanity. The horse shit. You know? I'm at a loss, and then I just like, it kills me, because I'm like, man, every time I don't want to say things, I say it. You know? Every time I come out here, I'm like, oh, we're just going to put on Moink. I freaking go into a rant for 45 minutes. And this is why it's hard for us to find an audience, because every time I do this, they shut me down more. I can't stop speaking my heart and telling you guys what I really see in this world. And this is 1,559 days of it. If you go back, it's all this. It's like every show, I'm like, guys, we're doing something crazy. I'm like, these motherfuckers, you know, it's like, I can't stop. I can't stop breaking through the crap and just saying, do you see this? What are they doing? And I can't tell you the amount of people that called me conspiracy theorists, like people I care about along the way for the last 2 years, 3 years. I'd be at family parties and they'd be like, yeah, we're going to get our bugaboo. I'm like, don't. What do you do not? Do not. What are you doing? There's no research. Oh, it's fine, guy. What? You're a conspiracy theorist. No. You're 19. You don't freaking need it. Okay? There was not one day in the last 4 years where I was questioning whether they were right or I was right. Think about that for a second. Since the day I heard there's nothing that can work with this against this thing. Nothing. I was like, okay, I guess if I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. But I'm definitely not like, I mean, it's actually interesting. When I heard about this, I think my very first thought was, I'll get a bugaboo when it comes out. You know what I mean? My very first thought when this happened was, yeah, I'll get a bugaboo. Like that, they're going to have something for this. You know what I mean? They'll have something for this. And they're like, no, we have nothing for it. We're going to make something for it. We have to make something for it. And I'm like, what? And I had a doctor in the show, and he's like, yeah, we have to make something. I just found the first case in Connecticut just like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, what the hell did you come here for? Yeah. And so, but he's like, yeah, we have to come up with something. There's no cure for this, you know? And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm getting that cure thing that you guys come up with when you do that. And then as soon as you start doing the research, and I'm watching these other streamers who are highly suppressed like myself, and doctors who I wanted to hear their opinions, and all of a sudden they don't have a platform anymore. And of course, the bigger thing is I had Dr. Richard Fleming. Dr. Richard M. Fleming, you guys may know him. He got very big during this on Twitter, but he started with nobody, and he was here on my show for 16 hours. And then I got kind of freaked out because there's a couple things that happened over his career that I didn't really look into because I really don't care what anybody what happened. If somebody wants to come on my show and they want to have some time together and tell me a few things and chat about some stuff, I'm open ears. And it's funny, when I shared a couple of things he said to me with a few people we know, they went and they researched him. Oh, well, did you see this on him? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Doesn't mean that I can't believe what he's saying. It doesn't mean that I can't trust what he's saying is true over Dr. Weasel Fauci, who's got plenty of things on his freaking, historical documents. If you look at the way he handled the AIDS pandemic, everything along, this guy's been filling his pockets for freaking years. But like I said, you can't do anything beyond what you're doing. And for me, I feel like doing what I do here is exploring the moment, and unfortunately, that is what hurts me, because the moment to me is wide open. And sometimes I go from one thing to another. I want to go do a Moink episode, and then all of a sudden we're ranting, about this entire scope of deals we're, going through. But at the end of this freaking 51 minutes, I just want you to know, we are not more racist today than we were in 2000 or 1996 or 2004 or 2008. We are not more racist than we were in 1990 or 1979 or 68. That's freaking mental. We are probably the least racist we've ever been. And there are still racist people out there. There always will be. But I'll tell you what, the more people that on a daily basis call everybody racist, they're perpetuating the bullshit. That's it. The racism dies when you decide to stop talking about it. Morgan Freeman's correct. If my child was born and she's 7 and she's in school right now and she went to school and she didn't have to hear about Black History Month, didn't have to hear about how bad these white people treated these black people 400 years ago every freaking year, then in one generation we can get rid of racism. In one generation. Think about that. Think about that long and hard. My 7-year-old goes to school with every other 7-year-old in the country. And for the first time in history, or as far as I remember, there is no Black History Month. They go to school and they focus on arithmetic. They focus on history that's not involving the atrocities of history. We talk about the positive things that happen in this country. How about the role models? How about we talk more about Frederick Douglass and we talk about the people who really did amazing things for this country to build it, right? Instead of talking about this really, really horrible thing that took place 400 years ago. That's like, how many generations ago was that? 6, 7 generations ago? We're going to continue to hold every single white person over the fire every year. And so if my daughter didn't have to see it, and the black children didn't have to go and see this and see the things that happened to their great, 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 great ancestors, instead of just saying, some crazy stuff happened, if you want to research it, it's there. But we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to put it in your freaking face. Racism would be done in one generation. I should write a freaking book on that. Because it's true. I'm certain of it. Because my 7-year-old came up to me asking me what freaking Black History Month was. Why do I have to hear about this every day, about all these things that happen? She goes, and I'm thinking, my 7-year-old, if she starts saying things to me like, we're bad people because of something that 400 years ago these people did, that shit is done. That ship sailed, guys. All right. My best friends when I was younger, our skin color didn't matter. Doesn't all of a sudden matter 25 years later when they're the least racist we've ever been. And as I said, you're always going to find bad people. You're always going to find racist people out there. But for the most part, mostly everybody I come across respects each other for the way they're treated. And you come up and you got your pants down to your freaking ankles and you got a gun in your hip and you're acting like a dick, I'm sorry, then you're just going to get some sort of weird response. But you show up and you have your belt on and you're talking to someone, smiling in their direction, saying hello. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Your actions are it's your body language. It's everything. You got these people out there that act like everybody's against them. The reality is maybe it's your freaking attitude towards the world. Maybe it's the way that you handle yourself and you're presenting yourself to others. when I could think about times in my life when I was not dressed nice or whatever it is, I was a kid, I had a scruff or whatever, longer hair, whatever it was, I may have been perceived a specific way because of how I presented myself. It's not always that everybody's against you. Sometimes it's the way you look in the frickin' mirror. If that makes sense, and I feel like we lose all of this in the translation of like, oh, well, a cop shot this kid and it's a white cop, a black kid, and it's a racist act. And then you watch the freaking footage and the guy's like screaming at the cop and he pulls a gun or he pulls something out like and the cop shoots him and all of a sudden it's a racist and Black Lives Matter. But then they don't matter when it's a black cop shooting a black kid or when black people are shooting each other in the streets in Chicago. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. You either care or you don't care. And you don't just care when it's a freaking matter where it has to do with a white cop. That shows me you're a hypocrite. It's ridiculous. And you give billions of dollars to this freaking fake group run by 3 lesbian women who don't give a crap because they don't stand for the issue they say they stand for. Chicago is an issue. Nobody wants to talk about it. There's a white cop. 13 times, I think it was. Like a couple of years, 13 times, a white cop shot a black person for some reason. And then there's like hundreds of white people shot by all different color cops. Didn't freaking matter what the color of the cop was. But there's white people like crazy shot. Because there's crazy white people out there. But it's not like you see it every day where there's these people out there, cops that are racist. I'm sure there's a lot of racist cops. Don't get me wrong. But in general, these people put on the badge mostly to protect your rights. And I feel like we lose all this in the translation from the media when they tell you that these cops are bad people and that they're racist cops and let's cut the funding. And then you have a stupid idiot president who actually has the nerve to try to say that it's the Republicans who want to, cut the funding to cops. Like, these people are so freaking lame. You got this other a-hole the other day saying that there was no chaos getting out of Afghanistan and that it went smoothly and that like it was Trump's fault the way that Biden handled the moving out of Afghanistan is Trump's fault because Trump left them with something. He left them with a process to get out that they took. Like, here's the thing. If Trump was still in office, they would have started taking people out of Afghanistan day one. Like November, December, because he was on his way out, he couldn't do this. So they just forgot about it. They got rid of every single thing that Donald Trump did. Every single thing he did in the first day. There's something like 29 executive orders. The longest Joe Biden has stayed up in the last 5 years is that first day he signed executive orders. And they got rid of everything Trump did, except they're going to leave Afghanistan. So let me get this straight. You hated everything he did. But you left the one thing, Afghanistan, and then you botched it, and you have the nerve to blame him for the one thing you left over? Oh my goodness. Stupidity on all freaking fronts. And then the morons out there believe it. Oh, but the fake news National Enquirer media told me. Bat with human ear at 7, right? I mean, that's what you expect from the fake news National Enquirer mainstream media, There's a hyena with a friggin', donkey butt. Wow. Let's watch that. This is the most outlandish bullcrap, right? Every day from the news. It's the freaking National Enquirer now. This is the National Enquirer. Oh my goodness, And like the bad one, the really bad one. Dinosaur egg hatched in New Zealand. Ooh, isn't that where they did the freaking movies for Jurassic Park? Guys, sometimes when you're here and you don't intend to rant-a-roo, you rant-a-roo. Who wants to moink? I feel like we need to break down a little bit of comedy after that, Goodness. Rant-a-roo. Joanne, can you do me a favor and get me the Back to the FutureMark movie? No, I'm sorry. We're not doing that. We're doing Moinkaroo. Shark Tank. This is my first appearance on Shark Tank. I hope you guys like really get into the experience. You know, I would say the best thing about this experience was being a part and being on the stage with Cubes, you know, at the same time when he tried to do a deal with me. That was the best part. Kevin, he's just a jerk. You'll see. I don't like Kevin. He's not wonderful at all. Anyway, let's see if you guys agree. Here we go. Moinkaroo, getting down with it. Joanne's wheezing. Joanne, can you keep it down the back? We got a moink going on.
Visible results.
Here we go. I'm going into pitch right now, really nervous. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm hoping that they're excited about moinking. It's the newest trend. You guys will hear about it soon. I'm going to do a pitch in a few seconds here. But I'm really excited. I'm just nervous. This is the first time I've ever pitched like this in front of sharks. So like, I don't know if they're going to just chew me alive or if they're going to be like, moinking is the most exciting thing since freaking hula hoop. And it is. But I gotta first go and make my case. So I'm heading in now, guys. Wish me luck. Thanks. I'll see you soon, all right?
How will Moink make out in the Shark Tank?
Hi, sharks. My name is Mark Pires, and I'm the inventor of Moink. What's that? Moink? What is Moink? When you get your friggin' Moink on, everybody's excited. Let me tell you a little bit about it. When you go out with friends and you're like, hey, what are we gonna do later? Like, dude, get a friggin' Moink. And everybody's like, I want a Moink. Where do you go? $19.95. Look, you have to use, we'll call 1-800 number, and we'll give you a freaking Moink. So look, that's the whole business, really. And like, who's on board? Who wants to be on the Moink train, you know? Some people are a little nervous about getting on the Moink train because they don't know what it is. The bottom line is this. Do you remember the 60s? Yeah, I remember. I know you do, Mr. Wonderful. Remember back in the 60s when people were banging it out? That's what the Moink is about here, 2023 style, because we couldn't really get it off the ground 2019, Plan Demaroo, and now instead we're reeling it back. We brought it back in, and people are getting their Moink on for the first time ever. I'm sorry, what's that, Barbara?
I find you enormously abrasive. I feel as though you don't have the capacity to listen.
No, Barbara, you can't just ask me questions like that when I'm trying to do my presentation. Okay, you want to ask me questions during the presentation? How about you let me present first before you start asking me questions about valuation? Oh, you're asking for $50 million for 1.5%. How did you get that valuation, Mark? How about you shut your friggin' hole till I finish, you know, my presentation? And then you could ask your questions. And I'll lay it out for you. I'm gonna give you all the detail, Barb. What's that?
The biggest danger is underestimating how successful you could be and what you're going to need to get there. You need me?
No, Barbara, I'm sorry. I thought you were on like a one-on-one friend basis now. Like you're wanting investing in Moink. And when you do invest in Moink, all of a sudden I can call you Barb, you know? I didn't know I'd be offending you in the moment. I'm sorry about that. Look, bottom line, sharks, who the frig's on board to get their Moink on? Mr. Wonderful, I'm sorry.
You may not like this offer, but I'm going to make it anyway. I would want some kind of cash flow in the form of, you know, maybe I'd make it debt or maybe I'd make a royalty.
No, this isn't like a debt deal, okay? You want to make it a debt deal. Look, I'm going to structure this with a debt slash umbrella plan. You want to do a traveler's insurance? I don't need a traveler's insurance plan to, you know, deal with Moink. You know, when you're out there on the streets of Michigan and you're doing it, you know, and everybody's like, tell me a little bit about Moink. And you're like, no, you gotta get the Moink on, and you do the dance. That's when everybody goes wild. They all wanna be on board. They all wanna get their Moink products. So we came out with our very first shirt. go moink yourself. And look, if you have a problem with that one, then you're not a moink, like connoisseur. You want to be a moink connoisseur, then you know that go moink yourself is like the foray into the brand, positioning. I'm sorry, what's that, Cubes?
Just for calling me Cubes, I'm out.
Now, I will call you Cubes, okay? Because your name is Cuban, and I'm a shorter than, longer name guy. I'm gonna give you the acronym, okay? You're Cubes. And listen, all I have to tell you, Cubes, is that we're making big ducats here on, on Moink. And when you have Moink, you got money. That's not one of our other bumper stickers. When you got Moink, you got money. Because think about it, 60s when you were moinking, like babies being born, everybody's getting moinked.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my office.
Do you?
But the desk is over here.
Is it?
And so when
I don't want to hear anymore. Look, I'm just painting a picture for you guys, Sharks. If you want to invest in the hottest company in the world right now, getting your moink on, the valuation's clear to me. Yeah, but you guys, I know you want a little bit more, so let me give you the t-shirt number 2. Get the moink out of here, you know what I mean? And then what you're doing is you're telling them that they can't moink where they are. Like, you can't moink here. You gotta moink somewhere else, And again, we're trying to be safe moinkers while we're also supplying more moinking. So it's like more moinking, but safe moinking. So look, that's our product here. Do you have any specific questions for me as the inventor of moinking? Moink Mondays. That's another one we're doing now. There's 10% off on the website if you want to get into the Moink Mondays, routine. Look, I'm just letting you know about the kind of the specifics of our website on moink.com. And remember, this is a kind of moving product in a way, okay? Because we started with Moink, and we're gonna very quickly move over to Poink, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about Poink. Poink is for your animals, okay? And when they're going out there to procreate in order to make new species.
You are remarkably entertaining. I firmly believe that you'd be hugely successful if you did a comedy routine.
Okay, no, sorry. That one we'll leave out of this pitch, okay? You guys could ask me about poinking later. But right now, we'll stick to moinking, okay? Which is the maternal, version of poinking. Listen, we're doing it right now. We are cash positive. We've made $15.7 million in the first 7 days. Everybody's getting their moink on. Who's on board? Who wants to be the next moinker? We call people who are part of the moink, let's call ourselves an organization. How about that? The Moink organization. I was gonna say the Moink team, but we're more than a team. Like, you guys bring so much to the table. That's why I'm here today. I really want a deal. I'm not here like that guy, like, oh, he's killing it. He made $15.1 million in the first 7 hours. So he doesn't really want a deal. I do want a deal. I'm here to do a deal because I need the expert tutelage from you guys, So look, I'm gonna lay it out for you. We're killing it, yes, but I need a shark in order to shark it. Like you could kill it, but wouldn't you rather shark it, which means you gnaw the freaking face off? I'm just saying that's what I want from you guys. I don't want to just kill it and then it's like, oh, it's dead. Everything's dead. No, I want it to be a constant shark attack. And that's what I'm thinking. All 5 of you, we all get our moink on together. It's a group moinking, And some people are like, wait a second, we're doing group moinking? Yes, that's part of the freaking program. Like, shirt number 3 was, if you're not down, get a group moink going. Yeah? And then people are starting to see it from that perspective. 2023. You don't tell people what they are, who they could be, who they should be with, and you can say, why don't you all join and get a moink on? T-shirt, 3rd one.
What are your sales?
We're killing on that one too. We made $747,243 in 7 seconds. Yeah. Look, when you got the most successful and cash positive business you've ever seen on Shark Tank, walk in here and say, I want to do a deal. You know, you guys say, where are the freaking deals? Let's throw them on the table for this guy. Let's go. Let's just put them on. And then I'm going to sit there and just read them off. Okay, look, Barbara's offering $17.4 million for 1.5%. Right?
Tell us why it's a.
By the way, in all
50
transparency,
million.
I have a couple of these.
Highest valuation ever requested in the Shark Tank.
Just want to be clear I heard you properly.
Guys, my valuation's clear. You see what I've done. Sales, boinking. You know? I got nothing else. That's all I know is that when people want to get their moink on, they're going to moink.com, you know? And they're putting in their order for a double moinking. That's another thing. The double moink. We're offering bonus points on the first moink. And then when you put it towards the second moink and you pay the difference, double moink situation, you know? Look, that's just like the ultimate. If you can get a double moink, you know, then like everybody is excited. They really want to, you know, start telling their friends. They start buying apartments and like, you know, painting rooms because of the moinking. They're hopeful that maybe that's going to lead to more, you know?
What problem is it actually solving?
Guys, this is how we bring the world together. By moinking. So I don't think I could tell you any more about moink than I've done so far. So I appreciate you guys, and at this point, I will take questions. Sharks, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Mark Pires. I am the inventor of moink. You may be saying to yourself, what the frig is moink? I'm going to tell you all about it right now.
It's one of the worst ideas I've ever seen. I'm out.
Mr. Wonderful, how could you be out before I even said, I didn't even tell you what the product was, and you're getting out already? Mr. Wonderful, you may be like a moinker. You don't even know if that's our, you know, thing. When someone's into moinking, we used to call them a moinker. And if you're not a moinker before I even get through it, you know, like I'm here, I'm trying to do it, give you the pitch. You won't even let me get through a pitch before I'm out. I'm Mr. Wonderful, I'm out. You're not so wonderful if you can't even let me finish my pitch first. What's that?
You guys are on top of the world. You were dominating.
Oh, Cuban, I appreciate you over here giving me cubes. Good guy. Listen, I'm going to tailor my speech directly to Cuban because I think I'm kind of pissed off now, Mr. Wonderful. I don't even want to look in your direction. All right? I'm doing it here to Cubes. Cubes, listen. Moink You is our first like go-to product, you know, when people are out on the streets and they're like just trying to get the brand awareness, you know. We have these t-shirts and the first thing you see is Moink You. It's just creating conversation. I know you know what that's like. Social media style. You want to create a conversation with your clientele in order to build the business. Now, of course, our customer acquisition cost is less than $1 because everybody wants to get moinked. And when you're doing a moinking type of deal with the Sharks, maybe not Mr. Wonderful, but again, Cubes, moinking, you know, listen, you should bring it up at a Dallas Mavs meeting. Guys, everybody ever heard of moinking? Have you guys been doing a moinkaroo? And then everybody's in, you know. You get a, not a controlling, you know, share, but you get a 1.5% of the business. Yeah, that's big money right there. Big money. But listen, I wanted to say something first of all, Barbara. I don't really appreciate the way that you just come to your valuation of the moink business without, first of all, hearing me out of why I think the valuation should be what it is. You know.
Not for a second. But here's what we see again and again on Shark Tank, which always disturbs me. It's your approach to business, right? I see you as a cautious, respectful, intellectual guy, very bright, assessing, analyzing, but you forgot to take it out to market and see if there's even a demand there.
I can add a lot of value here, bringing this into my portfolio and making you a Shark Tank company.
Mr. Wonderful, with your stupid little like, you know, I always noticed you do one of these, Mr. Wonderful, in every single picture. You have something, secret society stuff you want to tell us about? I'm part of a Testavan. Yeah, we know all about you. It'd be a shut up. But what about, are you part of like Illuminati? Like, what do we do? Ah, look, at every photo, I'm like this. Yeah, we know what that means. Listen, you're out anyway. I don't freaking care what you think of me with your Illuminati ties. Okay, look, guys, let's get back to brass tacks, okay? Moink you. The first product. Second one is go moink yourself. That one, we went gold, platinum, double digits. You know, when I got a call from the supplier and they were like, we can't, we don't even have any more fabric for this. I had to question them. I pressed them. How could you run out of fabric for a moink? You know, like people want to get moinked. So let me get back to this because Barbara, I know you're on freaking bated breath. You can't wait to learn more about moinking. Now, it is a process that involves your libido, first of all. You know, I know that you're lacking that, Mr. Wonderful. You know, you were thinking about getting into women's sports. We know, 2023. But look, Mr. Wonderful, that's you, okay? I'm still working with cubes. I'm still working over here with Barbara. Barbara, let me ask you a question, if I'm allowed to ask questions of you guys. Like, you're here asking me questions. I want to ask you questions. When's the last time you moinked? You know, I'm here. I'm doing the moinking. I got the t-shirts. Go moink yourself.
I probably need this product more than any other woman on earth.
Cracker Barrel cheese. Impressive every time.
I have never seen a production any better than this.
I haven't had a sexual thought in probably 30 years.
And you can't even, like, tell me why moinking is, like, not the best thing since Wonder Bread? You know, 62. 5 cents a freaking loaf. And now you're talking about my valuation. Inflation. Look, remember, when you have an inflationary tactic, and it has to do with Wonder Bread, but you're getting moinked? You know? I mean, look, you could say negatively, I got moinked, but like, don't you want to get moinked, Barbara? I mean, like, at a certain point, maybe you're just not into it anymore. You're just like, I'm over getting moinked. But right now, this is a moinking situation. We're here doing a Shark Tank. Yeah, I know Kevin's here. We'll turn him in the other direction, Barbara. Okay. If you don't want to get your moink on, just because freaking Mr. Wonderful is here. What's that? No, you're not wonderful. I was joking. Didn't you see me do air quotes? Cubes. You saw me do air quotes, right? What is he talking about? I am wonderful. No, I was joking with you. Sarcasm. Yeah, Mr. Wonderful is like literally sarcasm. Everybody's laughing at you, Mr. Wonderful, not with you. Yeah. What's that? No, I don't care if they're laughing at me. That's the point of this, you know? No, Cubes, he's just being a jerk, okay? I get it. I'm the butt of the joke. You know, maybe if you guys were throwing deals at me instead of freaking complaints and more obstacles. Oh, what were your sales in 2019? We had the Plan Demaroo. You know, what did you want me to do during the Plan Demaroo when everybody can't get out there and moink? You know, there's no moinking when you've got to be social distancing. You know? Oh, sir, your business, how's it doing? Are you flourishing? No, I got to call the SBA. You got to help me out. I'm here. What's your business, sir? Moink. What's that about? Go moink yourself. You haven't seen the shirts? Oh yeah, no, I did see that. Right? What's that, Cuban? No, Cuban, look, you want to have controlling interest in the company? You got to pay big bucks. You know, or you can go moink yourself. You know, that's shirt too, remember. And if you're not going to be an investor in the company, you could at least be an investor in the company by purchasing a Go Moink Yourself shirt. You know? What's that green dress over there?
I think that the businesses that do really well right now are those that have a purpose.
You know, I appreciate your green dress. I do. It's nice neon green. That was a choice. That was a choice, you know. I wouldn't have gone with neon green. Like, you know, that's just me. Look, again, I'm here. I'm moinking. And I'm just looking for a partner. Like, who wants to get their moink on, you know? I mean, and again, you could be private with your moinking. This is a private business. What's that, neon? No, neon, you can't. Look, if you want to have like a taster / like, you know, let me see if I could get a product sample. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not only the product inventor, I'm also a client. Look, Neon, this is a pyramid scheme. Okay, we're working on a pyramid scheme, but this one works. You know? Like, you guys had a problem with Madoff, but he did it right for a very long time. You know, he kept everybody in the dark. They're all like, I've got a lot of money. And then he just took it all. You know, that's what we're doing here sort of too with the Moink. Everybody's in, they're thinking, look, I got a really good, investment here in Moink. And then the freaking you dropped the other shoe, you know? What's that, Cuban?
To everybody who's watching, don't buy it. I'm out.
No, Cuban, what do you mean you're out? Cuban!
I really don't know anything. Mark, sometimes your level of arrogance really pisses me off. I only say that you don't give people a chance. I wish I knew what their business was if you would let people talk.
This is the freaking deal of the century! Moink! Who cares if you're just rug pulling people? That's what we do best here. You must have missed my feature film, The Wolf of Crypto. It is available on YouTube to watch, where I rug pull everybody. What is that?
Won't want to be ya.
Well, no, I mean, it's one of my alter egos, because I wasn't going to use my real social security number for that. So Peter Bishop went out and robbed everybody blind. And he's a multi-millionaire, Peter Bishop. Then, of course, offshoring it, I dropped those funds, that's right, into Moink. And now I'm moinking it, But look, if you guys don't want to be, in and green neon, like you want to do you, whatever, But I'm gonna just continue to moink the freaking business, I'm gonna moink it into the ground if I have to. And if you guys don't want to be a part of it and green, neon, moink the system. Some people are like, I want to build a really successful business. I want to moink the freaking system. I moink the system. Everybody gets their moink on. You collect the profits. Bang, biggity boo. What's that, Neon? No, Neon, you won't get caught. There's no issues here. This is all above board. People are buying a control, in the company, which is just getting their moink on until they realize that it's like an Amish thing, Sometimes you're not really expecting Lancaster to come into the picture, and all of a sudden you're there. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, they're out in the freaking horse and buggy, and then you realize you got duped, But look, if you guys aren't into getting duped with the Amish, and you get them thinking like they all of a sudden got some lottery ticket and they can now support their family by moinking, and now, selling the moinking results to the public, I mean, that's on you guys. I just want to say one more thing before remember this face, okay? Especially you, Cuban, and freaking you, stupid. Yeah, I'm calling you stupid with the dumb head. Why don't you polish that freaking head before you go on camera? Let me ask, I needed to know this before Mr. Wonderhall. Do they, put a base on that stupid nog before you go out here for filming? Because you got to imagine there's a shine on that thing, Get your shine box, that type of deal.
You're a get the out of here.
Oh!
If you're not doing bodyweight strength, you're nuts. I fixed 5 bulging
Are you
discs,
kidding me?
spinal stenosis, arthritis.
You keep doing this at the best times. Hold on. I got to watch that part. Before you go out here for filming, because you got to imagine there's a shine on that thing, Get your shine box, that type of deal.
You're a get the out of here.
Oh! Remember this face, all right? Because I'm going to be a success with Moink.
You. We're all like it.
I'm telling you, whether it was you or me or Robert or one of us, he was going to do that to somebody. It just happened to be you were the last guy. He's an idiot. He's a con artist.
Kevin, don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad.
Don't feel bad.
Look, I went in there, I gave him my all, I told him all about Moink, and I just couldn't get anybody on board. I don't know what else I could have said, get your Moink on, go Moink yourself. Kevin just seemed to be a real deterrent from the very top, And I just couldn't get over his negativity at the end of it. You know, Mark Cuban, I thought he was on board. Like, he was going to invest. He was going to put everything he had, all of his billions, behind Moink. Because he gets his Moink on. He's got a lot of kids, you know? And he didn't get on board. Barbara, a little frigid there. So I'm not surprised on Barbara. But freaking Neon, when Neon Lady was sat there and she's going, and she's asking me stupid questions, that's when I was like, I got to get the freak out of here. I don't even want a deal anymore. No, of course I wanted a deal. You know, it really bothers me. I did everything I could in there. I did it all. And just I got nowhere except for here. You know, this is the walk of shame room. I get it. I'm on my way out the door. I'm going. And then you guys are going to laugh. Oh, look, he went in here. He's going to go get his Moink on all by himself tonight. No, I'm not. I got a group Moink going. Okay? Told you guys about it. Nobody wanted to get in on the group Moink, but that again, that's on you.
The golden ticket goes to my favorite product.
I've made you a good offer.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is the winner.
Riding all the way to the bank, baby.
You've come to the right place.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Mark Jellin was here doing the work.
This is from the movie on Thursday.
You guys know. Nobody in the back doing the laundry. You know? Oh, look, we're air drying. We're all freaking air drying. Okay? But here's the thing. We do a circumnavigation. We start here. We get back to there. And they're like, oh, look, well, you went that way. And when you came back, you came this way. Like, yeah, it's called a freaking circumnavigation. You know? Charles I was on board. He's like, look, you know what? You do it, Mark Jellin. And I was like, no, I'll totally do that. Because that's what I do best. Besides drink my lemon juice, you know? I don't want scurvy like you had, Andre. You know, guys, I'm glad that Mark Jellin has a drinking problem. You know? Because if I didn't, we wouldn't be able to get across this straight.
Oh, if Mark Jellin didn't have a drinking problem, we wouldn't be able to get across this straight. Oh, goodness. Guys, I cannot wait for Back to the Future, Mark. It is the best movie I've ever put together, and it's going to be completely insane. Thank you, a few of you. It looks like you went over to give it a like over on YouTube. Rumble, fam and friends, if you can, I put the link on the feed over here on Rumble. If you could head over to it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm assuming that you're on Rumble because you hate YouTube. I do too. I've been live on YouTube for 1,559 days in a row. No one knows I do this. I show up every night for an hour plus, and I create these comedies and these songs and everything that we do here live in the moment. And I try to explain what's going on in the world from, I would say, a common sense perspective daily for 4+ years. If you like that concept, share. That's the only way you'll break down the algorithm that they've set for this show, which is no one find. And it's called Mark Inspires for a reason. There's one guy who's shown up for 4+ years every single day, long form, and doesn't give a crap about suppression, just keeps coming back for the art. And that's me. So Thursday, I hope you'll join me when we play my 7th feature film, Back to the FutureMark. Again, I only wanted to do one feature film in my life. I'm on 7, and number 8 comes out on May 5th. It's called Stuck on Mars. So if you can, join what I would say is the most creative platform on the planet. We are creating feature films live without a script and songs, and also living in the moment and trying to lift you up with positivity. So I hope that's something you can get on board with. So I'm going to play you one more thing before we call this a night. It is freaking 1 a.m. I got on late because Joanne was wheezing. Typical. Yeah, I just couldn't push the button. Every time I went to push it, she's freaking wheezing through it. Yeah, pushing me in a direction. Let me play you one more little thing here. What's this? Let me see if I can do it this way.
Well, there's another rock over there.
Guys, it's kind of insane, all of this stuff that we put together, but I'm going to play you something that has nothing to do with Back to the Future, Marco. Let's just do something else. The movie's coming out this week, though. I hope you guys will join when we play it, premiere it. I had a clip that I could play for you that's kind of like a... I wonder if I could find it. How do I find my TikTok page? Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Oh, it's actually Mark Inspires TikTok. Let's see. Mark Inspires, where the frick are yo? Can I type it in a way that works? Let's see. I found it, guys. I freaking found it. I'm going to play you something here. All right, this right here is the full... I think this
If you left Marxists in the Bible...
Yeah, this is the one right here.
You know, for good. People forever will be like, the Red Sea was parted by Marxists. But you want to steal it from me.
I don't want to...
You want to give everything to Moses after I did the 10
copy
Commandments.
link. Here we go. All right, I'm going to give you guys... I'm going to give you the link to this. This is my TikTok page. If you guys haven't followed me on TikTok yet, I drop a lot of stuff there, more than I do on YouTube. That's the link right there. I'm going to play you this clip because it's the full 5-minute trailer of Back to the Future Mark. It doesn't catch everything, but this is just a little something I dropped yesterday.
If you left Marxists in the Bible, you know, for good, people forever will be like, the Red Sea was parted by Marxists. But you want to steal it from me. You want to give everything to Moses after I did the 10 Commandments. Twice. Right? Look, I'm finishing my job here. I'm going to go wash up. You know how freaking disgusting I am after being up there for 7 years, 4 months, 16 days, 4 hours, and 16 seconds? You know? So I'm going to do a washeroo, and then we're going to go and part the Red Sea. Yeah. No, that way? That's fine. You just tell them I'm not leaving it. Yeah, no, everybody come on this way. This way. So guys, I prayed to God last night. Look, I did the work. We're good. All we got to do is walk into the light. I had a hard time walking through the Red Sea. That's how big, you know, Marxist is these days. Walking through the Red Sea like this, you know, like just... I'm elbowing the water on the way through the Red Sea into the light, you know, because of how jacked I am from doing all the work, as the 10 Commandments work, you know. Thou freaking hey, how many do we have to do? You know, how many are we talking about over here? 10? I'm not even I'm one letter into the first word of the first one. Thou. Hold on, I'm not. 7 days later, I got to the H. God, you couldn't just like, will it so? You couldn't just be like, oh God, you guys need to get on the right track down there. Thanks for coming up to the top of Mount Sinai. I got something for you. Laser engraved. I just thought about it and made it so because I'm God. Here you go. Here's your freaking 10 Commandments. You go down there before they find the golden calf and you let them know about God. You let them know about the 10 Commandments. But no, I get freaking up to the top of Mount Sinai and he's like, so you got a pen? Do I got a pen? A pen? You better grab that rock. What are we talking about? You can grab a rock? What am I doing with the rock? Well, there's another rock over there. This is all burning bush stuff. And I go over and say, okay, so I have two rocks.
It's my favorite
line.
line.
Do with that. Grab the freaking small rock, take it to the big rock, and start, thou shalt not, you know, and you go. Twice. You got to do, and then a double decker, because I want to make sure you have one for the synagogue and then one for the village. 40 years in the freaking desert. Let's go. Right? Wait, what? Are you kidding me? No. You're not kicking me off right now as we're about to go into the light. You're going 40 years. Now we're going through the light. And we're going to the other side, Marxist style. Marxist, great job getting everybody over here and splitting the freaking Red Sea. Good job on that one. I think we're going to have Moses take over now. You got to be freaking kidding me. Right? I did the work. I'm here. I'm Marxist. Look, the Red Sea. It's parted. Like right now. Marxist, good job. Why don't you step to the side? Moses is here. Freaking Moses? You mean the one that was left in the river? And he showed up on the freaking, like, countryside, the queen? Found him? Moses? Mark Jellin was here doing the work. Stench. You guys know. Nobody in the back doing the laundry. You know? Oh, look, we're air drying. We're all freaking air drying. Okay? But here's the thing. Charles I went and saw him. I said, look, Mark Jellin's got a plan. You know, everybody's like, let's go and find land. I don't want to find land, all right? I want to go away from land and do it like, let's see if we could just like zip-zap around the land, right? We do a circumnavigation. We start here, we get back to there, and they're like, oh, look, well, you went that way, and when you came back, you came this way. Like, yeah, it's called a freaking circumnavigation. You know, Charles I was on board. He's like, look, you know what? You do it, Mark Jellin. And I was like, no, I'll totally do that, because that's what I do best. Besides drink my lemon juice, you know. I don't want scurvy, you know, like you had, Andre. You know, guys, I'm glad that Mark Jellin has a drinking problem, you know. Because if I didn't, we wouldn't be able to get across this straight, you know. You guys don't need a sip. You know, I don't need to help you with your freaking scurvy. Like, you got scurvy, and you're wondering if you could have just a sip of the lemon juice.
Hold on, I did something else, though. I popped this up. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. So we take a wormhole back in time. This song you hear in the background I wrote. It's on my album. There's 196 songs on iTunes. One of them is Back to the Future Mark, and we now have a movie, so the theme song comes to life, and throughout the movie you hear this.
If you look, man, I know we're at it. And I know you put your heart and soul on the line for the people of your village, the townspeople.
The jump.
And we're here against this elf, you know? And here's the most important thing. When we win, it will be because of Abraham Mark Lincoln and all of his actions and the hat. Because I wore the hat a lot.
Oh, goodness. Back to the Future Mark. I will tell you this. The movie comes out at 8 p.m. Thursday, April 13th. That's a significant day for many reasons, but 8 p.m. April 13th. April 13th is my birthday. And I think each year I want to put a movie out on my birthday. I don't think I've been successful in putting it out on my birthday yet, except for this year. All the movies that come out in random times. Batmark vs. Supermark was supposed to come out on my birthday, and it came out in June of 2019 or 2020, something like that. Anyway, so now we're here. We're putting out my first birthday movie. It's not my birthday movie, but there's something really cool that I'm hoping you guys will be here for the premiere, because it's only going to be cool for the people that are here for the premiere. And I think it's probably the coolest thing about the movie. And so I hope you guys will join. So if you haven't yet, hit that link that's at the top of the screen and make sure you hit the like button, the notification button, leave a comment below, and share it. If you could share it with anybody you know, let them know there's a sci-fi comedy movie akin to Back to the Future / Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure / I don't even know. It's totally insane. It's definitely the best thing I've ever created, though, just because of the concept behind it. I was thinking it's like as basic as it gets. Time traveler from the year 2769. His name is FutureMark. And his job is to go back in time and to create all of our history. And everything that we know of as our history, all was actually this guy FutureMark, who did all the work, and then everybody else took the credit for it. And so when he splits the Red Sea and he does the 10 Commandments as Marxists, at the very end, Moses takes over and gets the credit. And that's the concept of the movie. And to me, that is one of the funniest things you could ever think of for a movie. Now, you could take it to an extreme and say, like, oh, okay, let's have Adam Sandler play this part, and let's have blah, blah, blah play that part, and let's have 15 people. Let's make this a real movie. But I'm a guy here in a room who has ideas, and I'm bringing them to life. And I think all by myself, I've created, well, sorry, Joanne. With you too, Joanne. With the help of Joanne, I've created something really unique, a sci-fi comedy movie. I mean, it's crazy to have Joanne in there. Rich rocks for creating the visual of what Joanne is. And then morphing it into what I asked him to make it like Jabba the Hutt body. That he gave me Jabba the Soros, Jabba the Joanne. What's so cool is that, and I did it with Fraudgy, I just haven't really worked him in yet, but I took Fraudgy in, the one that Rich made for me as well, and I brought him into the program in Photoshop. Did the same thing with like a Crayola effect for him. And so it just looks a little cleaner when I use him. I have to find where I put him. Let's see. I'll have to look for that tomorrow, I guess, because I don't know where the heck I put that. I'm looking. What about this? Here we go. Oh, there it is. There's the new Weasel Fraudgy. You see him? He's got a little more... Dr. Weasel Fraudgy, make sure you grab a double-decker. Throw on your mask. Joanne, you gotta wear a mask, Joanne. Joanne, you can't come down here without a mask. Double-decker. Joanne is a spokesperson, and she's a role model as well. 74 bugaboos. Humongocarditis. Bugaboo. Weasel Fraudgy. When you got a Dr. Weasel Fraudgy, and he's in there doing it, that's a day, you know. That is a day. So thank you, Rich Killian, for making me a Weasel Fraudgy. You know? Guys, Thursday, 8 p.m., Back to the Future Mark, my 7th feature film, 100. It's an hour, 29 minutes, and 13 seconds, and I hope you'll be there for it. Back to the Future Mark this month, Stuck on Mars next month, Grimm and the Magic Shans the following month. What do we create next? I'm not sure yet. But we're going to do it. So, fam and friends, if you can, spread the word and show up again tomorrow when we do it all over again, day 1,560 in a row. Let me see who's on, and I will say goodnight to you. YouTube, if you're lurking, this would be the time to say, hey, Mark, what's going down? And I'll be like, not much. We're just kicking it here. Saturday Night Live, you know? Joanne, can we get an idea of who's on with us? Wheezy McGee back there. She's doing nothing as per usual. As per freaking usual. All right, Joanne, I'm pulling it up now. You can stop the wheezing. She gets nervous. Joanne gets nervous and starts wheezing extra loud. Barella, Chris Donaldson, my brother, Jim Williams, Trish Killian, and Virginia. You guys rock. I'll say S-Coop. Anybody else that may be out there right now, you rock. I appreciate you, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have a chance to do it all over again. I don't know what we'll do. I never know what we're going to do, but every single night it seems to be even better than the night before. And actually, it's not true. Every night's totally unique. We have music nights, we have comedy nights, we have live rant nights, but every night it's something that had never taken place until then. So I hope you'll join tomorrow for the next live creation moment. And Rumble, you guys rock. I appreciate you being here with me. I wish I could see who's here with me. I did want to say, too, Deathstalker X1, you rock. Thank you so much for watching and for chatting in the live chat on Rumble. Hopefully we'll have some more live chat going forward, and we'll get some people to start sharing on Rumble as well. Let's start blowing it out on Rumble too. So, until tomorrow, it's Mark Pires. And this is Mark Inspires, the longest running daily show on YouTube. 1,559 days in a row, and tomorrow I'll be back. Yeah, Joanne, with you. Gosh, Wheezy McGee.